How to stop judging yourself. Whew. If anybody is a critic, it's gonna be me over here. I critique food, I critique movies, and of course I critique myself. So I'm the first person to know how difficult it is, especially in this day and age. But it sucks so bad to be your harshest critic, and none of us deserve it. Like, literally none of us deserve it. Like, you are doing such a better job than you think. Like, you're a human being. You literally got dropped down into a floating rock, yeah, with no idea what the hell is going on. Like, you are probably doing the very best you can, and that is just more than enough. So, the first thing about judgment is we have to realize where it's cultivated from. Riddle me this, yeah? So say you're on a deserted island, okay, and there's nobody around.
I would rather take my chance out there in the ocean than to stay here and die on this shithole island, spending the rest of my life talking to a goddamn volleyball! Wilson!
Would you have the same judgments you hold about yourself in that deserted island as you do today, right now? Probably. I'm so sorry if there's sirens. Like, where I live is like basically Gotham City, so sorry about that. Would you be judging yourself if you were in a deserted island? Probably not. So what we can conclude from this is that society has such a huge impact on judgment and how we look at ourselves. And a lot of the time, society, the people around us, actually serve as a mirror, as a reflection. If you find that you are quite judgmental of yourself and you just don't even know where to start, my first recommendation would be is try to notice where you are being judgmental of others. So for example, like, you're on the bus and someone's laughing so loud and like they're being so loud and obnoxious and everything like that. Are you in your head like really judging them? You probably have a wound inside about being too loud, being too much. And when you judge other people, it's just reflecting the judgments that you hold within yourself. You may not be aware of that judgment because you are generally not loud, you're not too much. But say, for example, like one day you're just feeling in a goofy mood and you are really loud and someone gives you a side eye. Like, is that judgment going to be there? Probably, because it's something that you judge within other people. So just notice, like, what do I judge others for? Like, do I judge others for making bad choices, like going back with their ex? Do I judge people for them being broke? Do I judge people for them being rich? Do I judge people from them being fat? There's so much. And that is really an insight into what you think about yourself, because society is such a mirror. And a lot of the times what we judge individually reflects what this whole society judges. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're like, why do I have such strong judgments about myself? And I just can't seem to let it go. And you can kind of get like down about yourself. You're like, I just can't seem to let it go. But you have to realize that we all experience that. And it's not as easy as just waking up and just letting it go like that. Like, the first step is to be aware of it, because it's really not your fault. Like, as a kid, like, you didn't judge yourself, but the world around us taught us to judge ourselves, taught us to condense ourselves, taught us to feel shame, really. And you don't deserve to feel that. So the first step is really just being aware of what it is that you do judge yourself on, and maybe where it came from. Know that it is possible to override judgment. Know that it is possible to not be so harsh on yourself. Sometimes judgment is important, right? Because we want to be doing good things, you know? We don't just want to like go around with absolutely no shame, like hurting people, doing horrible things. And obviously we want to improve a lot of the time. So it's hard to get that equal balance, you know? But I think it's just in the way that you speak to yourself. You have to ask yourself, would I say it this way to my sister? Would I say it to a stranger? Would I say it to boss man in the corner shop? Do you know what I mean? Like, would you say those things to the people that you love? And if you wouldn't, why are you saying it to you? If maybe you are more critical of your appearance, putting like a photo of your inner child, like of you when you were 5 years old, if you have one, and just like sticking it up on the mirror, it will actually do you wonders, because everything that you're telling yourself negative about yourself, you'll be telling that to the 5-year-old that lives within you. And that's fucking awful. You would never tell that to your 5-year-old self if she was standing in front of you. So why are you saying that to yourself? Like, babes, you don't deserve that. Aww. Another thing that helps if you are used to judging your appearance a lot is to practice humility. Now, this is kind of counterintuitive because sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm judging myself because, I feel like I'm not good enough. But judgment kind of, in my opinion, sometimes comes from the desire of wanting to be perfect. You have to have humility to understand that we're not always going to be perfect. Like, for example, maybe you're someone that doesn't really like to step out without their hair done or their makeup done. And to be honest, I've really struggled with this. Like, I kind of have to look like decent before I go out or whatever. I have to ask myself the question, why? Like, why are you holding yourself to this standard, but yet you don't hold other people to this standard? So if you saw someone walking around in their pajamas, would you judge them? No. So why can't you go out? Why can't you step out not looking so good? Like, why are you so holier than thou to be on a different standard to everybody else? Like, have the humility, Ella, to understand that you don't have to always look the best all the time. Or you don't have to say the perfect thing. Or you don't have to have all the perfect features. Like, it's being humble enough to know that you don't have to always be the best. And therefore, you don't have to hold yourself to that standard all the time. It's such a tricky and complex thing where, because you don't feel good enough, you have to be the best. And being the best is not realistic, and it's kind of cocky in a way, because you don't have to be the best. Why are you different than everybody else? Why does nobody else have to be the best, but you have to be the best? Do you know what I mean? Another way that we judge ourselves is through our choices and our mistakes. And this one's a fucking kicker. Like, it's shit when you feel like you've made a bad mistake and there's nothing that you can do to go back in time. And we judge ourselves for it. We're like, am I a good person because of this? And I want to ask you a question, okay? Do you know everything that is going to happen? And do you know everything that has happened? And do you know what is happening at all times, in every timeline, in every world, in every universe? Unless you are the Messiah on the other side of the screen. No, you don't. So how can you judge your choices so harshly? Yes, obviously, we learn from our mistakes. If you fucking killed someone, I don't know what to say to you, babe. But you probably didn't. So really, who are you to judge your choices? Because I always use this as an example. Like, say I went back in time and I killed Hitler as a child, as a baby, or Donald Trump or something like that. At that time, that would be seen as a terrible thing to do, obviously. But no one knew that they were going to turn out to be Hitler or Donald Trump. So really, it would look like I did something terrible. But in the grand scheme of things, maybe I actually did something good because I saved loads of people's lives by doing that horrible action. The truth is, you never know if a decision that you made, a choice that you made, like, obviously not as extreme as that, but you don't know if a choice you made, a decision that you made that seemed like the wrong one in the moment actually turned out to be the best decision you ever could have made. Maybe a shitty decision you made put you on a path to your highest timeline. You don't actually know. So in every moment, you just got to do your best to just listen to your heart. Act out of love. And if you acted out of love and if you listen to your heart, what more could you honestly have possibly done? Like, you couldn't have. So you got to ask yourself, who am I to judge my decisions so harshly, so intensely, when I don't really know the outcome of anything? Fucking hell, it's literally Gotham City. I got to get my Catwoman costume out of the fucking closet. Oh, not gonna lie, my back is hurting so much. I don't sit up straight like this. I'm usually like this. But I'm trying to work on my posture, so just bear with me. And I'm saying all this about judgment, and I know that sometimes you just get into a spiral. It's probably like the week before your period, and it's just a spiral. It's just thoughts and thoughts of judgment, of criticism. Oh, why didn't I do that? Why am I like this? You just feel trapped in your thoughts, you know. And I completely understand that, and I'm sure everybody has experienced that. And sometimes it's beyond your control to change it. My advice is, when you're caught up being so hypercritical of yourself, is to do something that you wouldn't really think of, which is just to let the thoughts be. Because sometimes the more that you resist, like, the more that something persists. And fighting against those thoughts creates so much momentum, and in turn those thoughts give momentum back, you know what I mean? And they fight even harder. So sometimes when your thoughts are coming up like that and they're just spiraling, let them, you know, but look at them differently. Instead of identifying with them, instead of being in those thoughts, try to observe them like they're literally clouds in the sky, or they're waves on the ocean. If I get loads of thoughts, I try to become the observer and I let the thoughts come and I let them go, because they will go, you know. They just want your attention for a bit and then they'll dip. Just let these thoughts come. Don't fight them, you know. And instead of fighting it, instead of trying to fight back with positive thoughts, sometimes the most helpful thing that we can do is just get to a neutral standpoint when we're really spiraling, and kind of observing it just makes it more neutral. If something's coming up and it's oh, you made such a shit choice, this is the thought, right? You made such a shitty mistake, you made such a bad decision. Just go, okay, maybe I did, you know, maybe I didn't. Just be neutral about it, as neutral as you can, even if you don't really believe it, even if you want to feed into those thoughts. That's my best piece of advice to proactively help yourself from judgment. But don't get me wrong, it is very hard, and I struggle with this. I'm saying this to you, but I'm also saying it to myself, you know what I mean? We all just want to be good people, I think. We all just want someone to love us, and we want to feel worthy, and really that's so fucking sweet if you think about it. So try and look at that shadow side of the judgment. It's just a part of yourself that wants to feel good enough, that wants to do the right thing, that wants to be right, even if it's a bit naive. It's coming from a good place, you know. It's coming from wanting to be loved. So how can you hate that part of yourself? Treat yourself like you would a 5-year-old child, and have the most grace for yourself as you possibly can, and do everything out of love, out of your heart, and you literally can't go wrong. I'm sending so much love. If you are in a spiral, if you are feeling critical of yourself, we're going through it together. Genuinely, I bet there's so many people that are like this. It's not just you. But yeah, sending lots of love. Thank you so much for watching.